All right, we're good.
We're
Mark,
live. Hey,
how you doing, buddy? Thanks for coming over.
No problem.
Well, what were you doing when you were 21 years old?
21, we're going to get into the hard questions.
Right off the hop. We're just
Gonna
talking about
work
before
on-
we started.
Work on my memory. I had a better memory when I was 21. There's no doubt. Oh, 21, let's see. I think I was just finishing up rodeo on. Used to ride lots of broncs there from about 17 to 21, 4 or 5 years in there.
Nice.
Ended up actually having a horse fall down, wreck a leg, so I ended up in the hospital getting a knee fixed. And I didn't ride much after that, so 21 would have been kind of the end of my rodeo career.
Do you rode in the States, Canada, both?
Yeah, both. I rode lots in the NRA, Montana quite a bit, Alberta, Saskatchewan, BC. Kind of the local rodeo seal. CPRA for a little bit, but that's the year I actually hurt my knee.
Cool. What about, I actually got you over here. I want to talk music more than anything.
Music?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Who are those guys you're playing with?
Last night we were at a fundraiser for St. Paddy's Day for Michael, and there was kind of an all-star cast showed up to help me. There was a fellow named Ryan and a lady named Lisa. They played for Gord Banford for the last 12 or 15 years. A real good friend of mine, Aaron Young's been playing with me for the last couple of years. He's just a smoking hot guitar player, man. He can play, and he takes care of all the production. He's way cool. There's actually a local guy, Bruce Hoffman, plays steel and fiddle right here in town. Nice. He's a smoking good player.
There's so many good players around I don't
man.
even know, right? Or you wouldn't even know until lately, right?
Yeah, it's funny, that fundraiser, there was actually 8 of us on stage, and there was probably 6 of them CCMA award winners. Like, they just come in and help. They're fabulous people, and musicians both. Outstanding.
Yeah, that's good. That was a good cabaret. The dancers. We're talking about that when we have a lunch. Yeah, the dancers. That might be a new thing.
That was pretty cool. I always wanted to do that one, to have the big band. There was 7 of us on that stage actually, and then we had 8 dancers just doing a little entertaining. That was awful.
I thought it was fun. It was great.
Well, when you're on the stage, when you're playing for music or cabarets, nobody ever wants to dance.
Nobody wants to start.
Nobody wants to dance. So I was like, all right, well, I'll defeat this. I'll just hire dancers. So I gave them $100 a piece, and they come up and they dance their wheels off.
It's like when no one will fix your sink, you hire a plumber.
And those girls were pretty enough. They'd ask somebody to dance. They were quite happy to come home.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. Who's the fiddle player that was out at the ranch there, and then the other gentleman was playing the guitar?
Oh, the guitar again.
At Christmas time there.
That was Aaron Young, actually, same guitar player. He was also in High River here. But Denis Dufresne is the fiddle player.
That's always the name I forget.
Oh, he is smoking. I mean, he's. I think he's won the CCMA 5 times for fiddle player. He is
the real deal.
Yeah, he's one of the most sought after country music fiddle players in Canada.
When you debuted out at the Longview Hotel.
Yeah, a year ago, yeah.
My buddy Ryan, he plays steel guitar from Lethbridge, and he was there, and he's like, we're sitting there rubbing elbows, bullshitting, and he's like, who are these guys? I'm like, I don't know. But he goes, they're pros.
Oh, yeah, he is.
I think they might be.
Yeah, he's one of the biggest paid guns, and he's way.
So how do you get so? Is it luck, or did you meet this guy? How did you get hooked up with these guys?
Interesting stories. I think it's luck, but just good people. You run into people that are good. It's the luck of meeting good people, really.
Yeah.
Yeah. So actually, I met a guy at a studio, wanted to. I heard some of my songs and said, "Hey, I got a guy who wants to produce some stuff. You want to give it a run?" So he passed it by a guy, and that would be Gord Banford, actually.
Cool.
So Gord helped me produce some new songs, original tunes. He was awesome. Just like I say, got lucky. Met a great guy. Good. Oh, Gord's awesome. So that's where Denis come into the picture. Actually, he plays for Gord, and they're good friends. And he said, "Hey, Denis, you should help Mark. He's trying hard to
give him a hand."
So he came out and just started helping me, and I mean that was. Again, I met one of the greatest people. Denis is like one of the greatest humans alive.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a real dude. Real good.
I think they like you too.
Well,
I got a feeling.
Some have luck, some have less than luck. There's luck and unlucky. Well, no, they're good. They're awesome. We're pals.
Okay, so rodeo back in the old days. You quit that when you're 21.
Yeah.
And you're from where were you born?
Oh, that's complicated. And this
where were you from? BC?
No, actually, I was born in Whitehorse, Yukon Territory.
Is that right? See?
Yeah.
I need to know these things.
Yeah, you're my nephew, and he's going to learn stuff about me. We've only known each other 25 years, though. So
yeah, but we've never spent more than an hour with you at one time.
That's true.
There's always been a million other people to talk with.
Way. So, yeah. I was born in Whitehorse and grew up in northern Saskatchewan, actually pretty remote living.
Really?
Yeah, and then when I was a little older, I moved back to where my mom and dad come from, southern British Columbia. Lived with an uncle there, Jaffrey.
That's where I thought you were from.
Yeah, I had a real good friend there named Brian Armonger. He kind of let me crash at his house and keep horses there and train horses and rodeo, kind of from the time I was about 17 till I was 20.
Everybody needs a place like that, right?
Oh, he's one of my oldest and best loved friends, hands down in my lifetime.
Cool. Horses. I heard you're some kind of a horse guy.
I've ridden a few, yeah.
So what do you do now? You compete in...
Yeah, after the rodeo kind of quit, that leg wouldn't heal up. I ended up training horses quite a while, and then I started picking up bucking horses for rodeos, and that's just good fun. Love doing it.
It's not penning or something? Didn't
No,
you win something? No, showing horse.
Oh, you're thinking about the cow horse thing I've been doing the last 10 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, cut and rein.
Tell us how that
horse
works, because I have no idea.
Well, the cow horse event is one of the cow horse shows. We got your cutting, your reining cow horse on the western side.
Yeah.
So the cutting is just cutting, the reining is just reining, but the cow horse melds all events. There's two, the cutting, reining, and then they have their own, what they call the fence run.
A cowboy's horse.
A cowboy's horse. So that one horse has to learn to do 3 events, and in some cases 4 when you get to the world's greatest horseman.
Gotcha.
They got to do steer stop.
Didn't you win some award lately?
I've won a few, yeah.
Good.
I won Calgary in 2015, and I've won a lot of stuff in Canada, like
nice.
Non-pro awards. I've won the Supreme.
You got a big trophy case full of
I've got
trophies,
a few,
buckles?
Yeah,
buckles?
I've got a few, yeah. Quite a few buckles and some. I won Hackmore in Las Vegas here. I can't remember what year, 15 or 16, and I won Paso Robles Hackmore Classic. I did good. Won the Canadian Hackmore for the non-pro side. I don't know, 4 or 5 times. It's been good.
Cool.
Yeah.
Excellent.
I've had a really good run, but again, it's the same thing. You meet great people, right? I've been lucky.
Yeah.
I just keep running into awesome people.
I know. That's good. I got the same problem most of the time.
Yeah. John Swales he's the king of the cow horse in Canada, and he's been a pal of mine over 20 years and helped me learn that sport. It's a hard sport to learn, man. It's humbling and damn tough.
It's got to be.
Yep. You think you're a cowboy, and then you go to change to that gear, and it's an eye opener.
You get your ass handed to you.
Oh man, 10 years later, still struggle. Oh, it's a hard event to learn. There's 3 events, and you got to try and get a horse do all 3, and do them well.
Yeah.
In a row, and maybe on the same day. It's tough. Yeah.
All right now.
Yeah, but it's cool. It's really, really cool.
Totally cool. Okay, hunting.
Hunting, yeah.
Tell me when you started that business.
Hunting and trapping started with me when I don't even remember when it started because Dad was outfitting in the Yukon back in Whitehorse, so I don't really remember a time I didn't hunt and trap. Like I remember following Dad's footsteps in the snow when I was maybe 4 years old. I don't know how old, like tiny. So hunting and trapping's been my whole life, off and on.
Got any world records hunting?
Not any world records, but we've sure got lots. Oh, I guess I lie. We do actually hold one world record for what they call the Shirus moose in a rifle.
Shirus moose, where do they come from?
They start from the Bow River here, and then they go right south through to Wyoming.
Really?
Yeah. It's a classification of a moose. Different subspecies.
I'm super ignorant. I don't even heard of it before.
Well, we got the Shirus moose. It's a smaller one from the south, and we got the Canada moose and the Yukon moose.
Oh, okay.
They're subspecies of each.
And there's a Boone and Crockett book. Is that what they call it?
Yeah, there's a Boone and Crockett, and Boone and
Crockett.
Crockett.
Got a few in there.
Yeah, there's a few piled up in there from clients more than myself. I've never put one in for myself ever, but clients have.
Yeah. When did you start? You had that hunting grounds. Tell me about that place in the Yukon.
In the Yukon.
How did that start? What was it?
How did it start? What instigated it?
How did it end? Not that it matters, but tell us about it.
Well, I've been hunting
or
outfitting.
What was it?
I've been doing it for guidance since I was 15, so 35 plus years now. Long time from Saskatchewan, working with Dad all the way through BC and growing up. Guide and make money, But Dad died there about 6 years ago, and I got inspired, so I went and, got a Yukon Territory bot, because that's like the biggest thing you can do in outfitting as an outfitter.
That's the mecca of hunting.
It's the top of the world. Yeah. It's, the big northern areas, whether it be BC, Yukon, Northwest Territories, they're all fantastic. And so I went and did that, and we run that for 5 seasons, and that was my goal, was to run 5 seasons.
Seemed quick.
Yeah, it was over in a heck.
I was gonna say it felt like it was 2 or 3 years, but it was just over quick.
It was a monster project. We had 20, 25 people hired and working 5, 6.
How big of an area, like acres or miles by miles or whatever?
The concession stated 13,750 square kilometers.
big.
I was told it was the size of Israel, but I've never checked see how big Israel is. It's big. It's a lot of
You
ground.
get a fact finder out and check that.
Yeah, I'll
You
check
just
that
took
out.
their word for it.
Yeah, I just took the word.
The size of Israel.
Yeah, it's 150 air miles in a straight line from the north to the south end. Yeah, uncountable lakes. Like there could be 100 lakes or more. I don't really know. Lots.
Too many to count.
Yeah, we had 35 cabins on about 10 different locations.
Cool.
It's a great hunting area. All the Yukon, any of the north, like northern BC, it's
As soon as you get
it is
north of Grand Prairie, things start.
yeah, they get a little very remote, a little more rugged.
Yeah.
Some of the mountains taper off a little bit. Some of it's rugged, but you can hunt all the great animals. If you're a hunter, if you're a sightseer, it don't matter. It's gorgeous.
What did let's say somebody phoned you from, let's say I phoned you and said, hey, I want to hunt like a caribou up there.
Yeah, there's caribou and moose and grizzly bears and goats.
So they
and
fly
sheep.
up there, you pick them up somewhere, fly them in.
Yeah.
Take them out for a few days.
It's Whitehorse is really cool because it's an international airport.
Okay.
You know, we've got Air Canada, WestJet, everything flies in there, so it's really good to
It's
function.
not just Ken Borak anymore.
Yeah, it's not like it used to be quite as dramatic, but yeah, right now coming out of Whitehorse is easy. And some of the areas you drive 6, 7, 8 hours north, 6, 7, 8 hours south, depending where you are.
Yeah.
But that particular area, and lots of those in the Yukon, you can actually fly right to Whitehorse. You got your hotel and your grocery store and the float base
Set
and
right
everything.
up.
Yeah, you're 5 minutes from everything.
That's
You just
perfect.
get on an airplane and fly to a camp and go fishing.
What do those kind of hunts cost back in those days?
Oh, we don't talk about costs.
Really?
No.
A lot?
A lot.
Okay.
No.
A lot.
A lot of the northern hunts run right now. Oh, anywhere from 10 to 25,000 is probably pretty standard. The sheep hunts are twice that. But
We were just talking. We did the first recording with Kelly Patterson today. He said in Mongolia the Marco Polo
yeah, Mark Polo. Yeah,
is $100,000,
yeah, it's 100,000. They'll have the big Marcos. Yeah,
and then you got to get the guide and all that after.
yeah
Just
some
for
of
the
those.
tag.
Are,
That's
Yep.
good money.
well, the hunting industry is really crazy because a lot of people pay a lot of money, but a lot of it goes to either hunt conservation. All that money goes to feeding families,
Yeah.
buying cars eventually, or whatever it is that we do. It's not like one sheep is worth what $100,000. It's a lot of money.
Yeah, but the operation needs it.
Well, it does, and so much goes back conservation. Like the SCI in these areas that auction off big tags, they produce multi-millions and millions of dollars. It all goes back into conservation.
Yeah.
Keeping habitat for sheep or elk, or if there's any problem areas, or if they got to, fight poachers in Africa. You'd be shocked at how much money they fund to keep the poaching down in Africa. Like SCI, I don't know the numbers, but they're big.
Have you hunted in Africa?
I've never hunted Africa. No, I've
You
been
hunted
there.
in New Zealand one time?
I went to New Zealand, hunted New Zealand. Yeah,
What'd you take down there?
I got a tar with a bow. I got 2 tar actually. They're really challenging to hunt in the mountains. It's one of the more challenging hunts, both physically and they're wild.
Really?
Well, they're not a native species, so they're overrunning the country, and the country's trying to get them,
Eradicated?
kind of eradicated. Yeah,
Open season on them?
it's totally open season. They're trying to get them. There's hundreds of them, but they're hard to get on. They're wild because they're hunted. They're chased with helicopters. Oh man, they see you. They are wild little
They
rascals.
run.
They're like a goat, man. They run up anything.
Huh.
So to get with a bow 20, 30 yards from one is more than tricky.
You
So it's
trade a hunt or you just went down there
Yeah,
on a planned hunt?
Yeah, one of my clients was going. He just phoned and says, "Why don't you come with me?" So we went down.
Perfect.
Tell you the truth, he paid for most of it.
It's nice.
But-
You got a lot of good friends.
Oh, another one of those good friends. We worked it out when he got to the Yukon, though. So it was
Did you
all
do any hunting in Hawaii, on the Hawaiian Islands? Did I hear that one time?
I not really.
Not really.
See, they got all those goats over there,
Yeah.
and it was kind of funny. How the heck did I meet that guy? I was at Dawn and I
At a
wanted to go.
luau?
Well, no, we wanted to go look at a ranch in Hawaii. And I was sitting there playing with a rope, and he says, "Looks like you roped before." He says, "We're going to team rope tonight. Why don't you come on down?" So, yeah, so I went down to this team roping, and he said, "Well, here, take a horse." So I went and turned 2 steers on a horse and got off and gave him his horse back. Somebody else got off, gave me another one. That went on for the rest of the weekend.
You're busy.
Every night. I roped every night, team roping in Hawaii. So anyway, back to the hunting side of it. This guy went out to the ranch, and he's got all these wild goats that are come off the mountain and invading his place. So he says, "Let's shoot some of those things and butcher them." All right. So we went and we shot a few goats,
Nice.
but they were just some big billies that
Were they
had broke
tasty?
in.
Eat 'em?
He gave them to the ladies. There's some needy people in Hawaii, so I didn't actually take any home. He shot a couple. I shot a couple. We hung up, butchered them all up, and then gave them to the whatever the people that needed it. Yeah.
Perfect.
They were just wild goats that were
Earlier
running
on,
rampant in his tame herd.
On Kelly's interview earlier on, he said the craziest thing he ever ate when he was in Mongolia was wolf.
A wolf? Haven't done that.
No.
He's on his own.
Well, that's what I said. I go, you got to be one of the few.
No,
Yeah.
I
Totally cool.
don't know if I'd want to eat a dog.
Something about it, yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't seem right, even if it is a wolf. But.
Even if you are starving.
Well,
Never been that hungry, I guess.
I've never been that hungry. That's a good point.
I never.
If you're hungry enough, you'll eat anything, I reckon.
I hear that. What, during the Stampede this last July, what was going on downtown there? You're playing at the King Eddie and that other venue across the street with the plus 15. What were you doing there?
Oh, the, what do they call that? National Music Center.
Yeah, that place is
National
cool.
Music Center is really cool. They just rebuilt the King Eddie and they opened it just before Stampede and kind of made it a cowboy cabaret of a sort. Yeah. And the Ghost Boys, the two boys we talked about earlier, Denny and Aaron, they were the house band. So they invited me to go down to King Eddie, so we went down there 5 out of 10 days and played some songs with them. And we had a lot of fun there. I was in riding the Stampede with the Cowboys Classic anyway, so simple.
You're hanging around there.
Yeah, just went down there and
perfect.
Play some songs for 2 or 3 hours and go and ride a horse later, or however it worked out. It was good. It was
perfect.
Way fun.
Perfect.
Except they didn't let me win last year. I wasn't happy with that, but
as always next year.
Yeah, wasn't good enough.
Perfect. I need a break. Okay, airplanes.
Airplanes.
Let's talk airplanes. You've been in an airplane probably as much as I have been.
I've been in quite a few.
Probably more of them too.
Maybe
more
not.
Models.
We might have to talk about that for a while. Figure that out.
So I got one buddy, Reed Monahan, down by Clarkson on the Skyline Road. He's gonna come one day. He's quite a character. He's a character.
I actually know Reed. He was a character. I knew his dad, dude. He was a character.
Bill.
Yep, I knew Bill.
Big Bill. So I took those guys flying quite a few times. Years ago, he's doing some paintball gun wars out there.
Can we talk about that in public?
Oh, yeah, we can talk about it. But anyways, Bill, I took him flying in the old 120. And he told me a bunch of stories because he's like a 5,000-hour bush pilot.
Yeah, he flew up north lots. I knew him from that era in the 70s.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah, he flew piles and piles of... I think he flew the Cub mostly up there then, maybe.
You say like the 180 better than the 185 on floats for some reason. I don't know why.
Yeah, I was probably flying the 185. He's on floats, yeah.
And and it wasn't Bill, it was somebody else. Reed was with, I think, we're going to get the story straight when Reed comes, but...
don't worry about getting it straight. It makes a better story if you get it wrong.
Never let a lie get in the way of a good story.
Exactly.
So, they were stranded. They crashed or something, or broke down, or...
It happens up there a lot, actually.
Broke a wing, or ran out of gas, or whatever the hell it was. Yeah. And the guide that Reed was with had to walk back.
Oh, my.
It took...
I could take a day or
7 days or 10 days or 2 weeks.
Man.
Before he got back, and all he had was a Mars bar and a half a peanut butter sandwich.
Oh, he was thin. Yeah. He was thin by the time he got home.
Hungry. And there's a little tiny shitty cabin, and the bear was sitting there scratching the door.
I think I've actually heard this story. This is a story from the north. Yeah, it does. I've heard something about this.
And then they got flat tires too, where the tube was pooched, and they put packed moss in the tire. They put the rim because they're a split rim.
Oh, yeah.
And you can bolt them back together and use moss instead of, because they didn't have an air compressor. Yeah. It could be enough to get them going.
So they filled the tire full of moss.
Yeah, like just stuff it in there.
With a split rim and bolt it back together. So that it would rise.
So you get stranded up there? Any plane crashes? Any close calls? Obviously, there's always a close call. But
yeah, there's... Gosh, I can't think of anything much. Most of the pilots up there are pretty safe. I know I've known a few. Yeah, I've seen a few engine failures. I know engine failure. They landed it into the willows. You know,
the green trees.
Yeah,
the new growth.
Yeah, the new growth. So it kind of catches that plane on the ground, and you'd actually be amazed.
That's the ticket.
It ended it up a little bit, but it wasn't bad. They lifted it out with a helicopter and landed it back. They set it back down on at the airport, and you'd actually think you could just take and fly it again. Like it didn't really that bad, but I'm sure it was a lot of fun putting that down on.
Dead sticking is a whole nother story. Yeah.
Yes. I've been in one.
It gets
airplane
real quiet.
It's that. That still prop out there. You look at it and you think, that's not supposed to be there.
Totally.
If you know what I'm talking about, you've been
Uh-huh.
there. If you
I
don't know
know.
what I'm talking about, you don't want to be there.
Those
Twice?
times.
Well, only once for me.
Yeah.
I wasn't
Once
flying.
is enough. What's the best plane up there? Bang for your buck.
Well,
I know it depends. With the
depends a
payload,
little
but
bit what you're
what's
doing.
your favorite? I guess.
My favorite is the Mall. I love the Mall. They have that. I think they call it Rocket 9, don't they? Or Rocket 7. They made
Yeah, I
a
just
few
do the
models of
Rocket
them.
5s and all that. But yeah, the 9 must be pretty new.
Alpine Aviation too. I was flying up there, and he had one on wheels, and just like a little rocket ship. It was awesome. Yeah, land anywhere, fly anywhere.
Yeah.
You know, it carry way more than it was probably illegal to. He's so anal about keeping everything to the book, so we never did. But man, it can take off in 30 feet. You're airborne.
It has like
It's
a
crazy.
Lycoming 540 in the front.
Yeah,
of it.
some
like
of
a
them
big
got big engines,
300
yeah.
horsepower.
Yeah. And my brother's actually flying that. I think he's flying that exact plane. They put it on floats now up there.
Nice.
And he says it's amazing. Like for flight, short field takeoff. You know, if you're carrying a Super Cub weight like a 500 payload or whatever.
Then it really
oh man,
doesn't
he
even know
says
it's there.
It'll outperform a Super Cub 1,000 to 1.
Yeah.
But it can actually fly faster. You know, it flies half again as fast as a Cub, so you can get somewhere.
Do you ever get any big twins in there, like otters or?
Yeah, the Twin Otter's been flown up there a few times. There's not a lot of twins. They do have big Twin Otter on wheels, but probably the coolest plane I saw fly was a single otter with the turbine engine, 1,000 horsepower, and
they
that
go.
thing was just second to a helicopter. It was
That motor, the firebox, or whatever they call it, it's only about that big. Like you could pick it up.
really.
Oh yeah, no problem. I bet it weighs 90 pounds. I don't know for sure, but
For-
it doesn't
first-
weigh much.
First time we flew it out, and there's a little teeny puddle that we land on, and the Cub pilot, like a Cub pilot, wouldn't land there with a Super Cub or anything. It was too small.
He wouldn't even think about it.
We didn't even think about it, no. And this
And
guy
that
said,
thing's-
no, we're good. He said, I can land in there. I said, are you mind? Because this plane, of course, is physically 3 or 4
And
times
he
the
just goes
size
like
of a
this.
Cub.
He just goes, and just.
Well, and when he comes into land, the plane looks bigger than the lake. Like, it's ridiculous. But as soon as he hits the water, he puts the reverse thruster
Looks
on.
like a mud
It goes,
puddle on the
"Woo!"
street.
It just,
Wow.
like, it just comes to a stall.
Yeah.
And it's like he's got lots of room. But when he's come in, you think this ain't going to work. Yeah, you just close your eyes. But he just lands and then, yeah, load up. Like, he can't take off full weight, of course, or fly in with full weight. You got to.
Yeah, empty. They'll go anywhere, really.
Yeah, I'd be kind of decided.
Half a tank of fuel and
Yeah.
just the pilot in there. It's
1,000
good to go.
pounds, and that's all he could fly out of there. But I mean, I think that thing could haul 3,800 or something. You could haul quite a bit of weight. But,
Payload.
yeah, if you had the
That's a
room
lot.
on the lake to get on and
My
off.
210's only like 860 pounds.
Is that? Oh yeah, yeah.
4 dudes my size. Oh, not
Yeah.
quite, but close.
Yeah.
4
yeah,
dudes your size.
Yeah. Well, between the two
No
of us,
problem.
we're good. We're average.
And a full fuel.
And it'll fly it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
2,000 feet, 2,000 feet, pretty much anywhere underneath a mile tall, it'll do it.
Well, you'd know the answer to this question. I think Gerd up there with Alpine Aviation, he's decided that his favorite plane, and I flew him in a lot because he liked this plane, and I think he's got about 4 of them in the fleet, is the 206, which is a very close cousin of the 210.
It's
a
exactly the
performance
same.
machine.
It's exactly the same, but the wheels don't go up and down.
Is that all the difference?
And the one cargo door is different, but I think they're almost the same.
Yeah.
Maybe one's 2 inches wider and one's
Yeah.
6 inches longer,
But
from 300 feet, they look identical.
well, for efficiency,
People will
of
come up to me
flying-
and say, "Oh, that's a nice 206." I'm like, "No, it's a 210."
Yeah. Well, they're efficient. You can fly them for less money and go on. It's a $600 trip instead of a $1,200 trip with a Beaver. But they haul
Beaver.
3/4 or 80% of what a Beaver. They'll carry a lot of weight
Are beavers still popular up there? Or the beavers,
for certain places.
they got their niche in the market.
Yeah, like so if we were going to fly a 206 load, say 800 pounds was the weight, in a real tight spot, they take the Beaver because you got 300 more horsepower.
Right.
And it way outperforms
And it's got
the
that
206.
heavy, or the wing has more lift.
Yeah, it really lifts. Yeah,
Yeah, it
but
goes hard.
it's expensive to fly. I think
They're expensive planes.
you remember
one
the-
that's wore out that they
Yeah.
pulled out of a lake in Vietnam? They're getting $300,000 for it or something. It doesn't even work.
They told me what that thing burns when it's taken off. That's a ridiculous amount.
Probably 100 gallons an hour or something.
Yeah, it was a big
on
number.
takeoff full power.
On takeoff full power off the water
Something
when
like
it's
that.
full loaded. It was a big number. I was like, wow, that's a lot of fuel. Because it takes them,
And
a couple minutes
and they
to
only
get
go
airborne.
100 miles an hour, right?
Yeah.
Maybe more.
That's tops.
Maybe more, not much.
I don't think so. 90, 100,
90.
100, yeah, 110.
Super Cub speed.
Yeah, like Super Cub +5 maybe, but not much. Yeah, they're slow.
I love Super Cubs. I've only been in one Super Cub float plane in Kodiak Island.
Yeah.
And I flew back to the Kodiak from a Fognak Island. I was out there fishing it. That thing was cool.
I've been in a
Just putting, just put.
I've been in a lot of Super Cubs, and they're really cool because you can look out both sides. You can see everything. And in some cases, those guys got glass cabs almost, so you can.
Yeah, they're beauties.
Oh man, you can see everything. It's so much.
They're
fun
so small too.
Well,
they're
tiny. They're not meant for big guys in the back.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
Shane Hansen told me a story. You know him?
Yeah, I know who you mean.
The fisherman guy.
Yeah.
He said he's with Greg Williams like 30 years ago. He said he guided with Greg for 10 years.
What was that? Maybe in the Nahanni back in those days.
I think so.
Maybe, yeah.
And they're in Greg's old Super Cub. And it has wooden floors. Well, I think they all do. Or the old ones did for sure.
Yeah, I think
There's like plywood for the floor.
Yeah.
Below it would have been the steel framework.
Yeah, there'd be plywood though underneath the seat.
And he said it's so rough, they're in turbulence, and they're just like hanging on like. And he said all of a sudden, it buckled so bad, something give, and that floor buckled, and all the dust has been collected in that floor for the last 30, 40 years. But blew up into the cab. They couldn't see nothing for like 5 or 6 seconds. They're just like, oh no, this is the end. But then there's a draft, right? The vacuum, we got rid of that.
Cleared out in a minute.
It cleared out, but he said he was. He said he didn't get back in it for a little while.
Oh, it'd be quite a shaker in there. When the turbulence is bad, those little planes can get shaken
I
down
hate
bad.
turbulence. I used to not care about it, but I don't like it anymore.
I was flying in was a Cessna 185 with an outfitter. I was going in to guide. We flew at a Dease Lake, and back in those days, it was funny how. Oh, we'll get back to that in a minute. But
yeah.
Anyway, this airplane, we're going through a canyon, and we busted through like it was really open, and it dropped like it felt like it went straight down 30, 40 feet and turned right sideways. Like we were no longer going the way we were going.
Hello.
Oh man! Like and,
downdraft of some type.
Yeah, it was brutal.
With a rogue wind shear somewhere
like
in
we
there.
were looking right through this canyon like this here, and then the one side of the canyon wall kind of broke off really fast.
Yeah.
And I mean, in less
Would have
than
been
a
a
second,
wind going over that and then coming back and then causing some pressure the way you didn't want it.
That's exactly the mechanical turbulence of the air
Yeah.
coming over, and it just dropped and twisted that plane, and we were looking right at that wall. It was like, whoa.
One of my flight instructors, when I was after I got my license, Alex Balson, we went out flying, and I said, "How do you know when it's really rough?" I go, "How do you know when the turbulence is too bad?" He says, "When you start praying."
Yeah, that's probably true.
That's fair enough. Yeah,
you know, we talk about how they get thrown around, but it is amazing how durable they are.
They're made for it. It's
made
like
to take it.
My friend Corey Armstrong always says he builds boats, and he says a boat's safe in the harbor, but that's not what they're made for.
It's true.
A airplane is safe in the hangar, but that's not why we made those things. They're made to fly.
No, and they do. They just the engineering.
They're
of
super
them,
tough. I think
crazy.
any structural damage that happens to them in the air is super rare. And it'd be like some crazy. I don't even know what they call them. Like it'd be a phenomenon of weather that would hurt them.
I've never even heard of one. Maintenance issues where rivets wear or something, but
Yeah.
but
No, they're tough as hell.
Yeah, I've never
Super
heard of one
tough.
getting shaken apart in the sky. Never.
Yeah, super, super tough. I love them. I think,
Me too. I've loved flying all my life too.
yeah. It's never too late to go get your license.
I took a few lessons here or there just to make sure I could fly one, but I've never got a license.
Yeah, well, I think you should do it anyways.
Okay, all right. Then I can fly your airplane.
I always wanted runway out at your ranch out there.
Yeah,
The strip.
You might have to level it off. I'm going to get a plow going.
I
this
landed
year.
there one time in the 120 years ago.
That was no big deal. That was easy.
I had a gallon of gas in each tank.
Oh, just enough to get airborne again and coast back to
And
the high.
float home. Yeah, exactly. So
Yeah, we could put an airstrip out there. There's lots of room.
there's a mile for every mile of road, you can drive a mile. For every mile of runway you make, you can fly anywhere in the world.
There you go. That's very true.
Oh, yeah. You still got the range set up out there, the gun range?
Oh, yeah. We do some shooting.
What's your farthest shot?
The farthest shot?
They actually hit the target.
To hit the target, John Swales can hit a target at 1,000 yards dang convincingly. He can do it quite often.
What kind of round?
Oh, he's shot all kinds of things. Every time I talk to him, he's shooting something different, but anything from an STW to a 7mm. Yeah, he had a what they call that thing, was a 300 Edge, I think, for a while they called it. 3378 Mark IV is a really good gun. I mean, for long range, it's heavy, big
monster of a gun.
Yeah, it's a monster to pack. I think it weighs 14 pounds, but it will shoot flat. My
buddy Nephi has a 338 Lapua that was made in Saskatchewan.
Yeah, that's
Saskatchewan Prairie Firearms or something. Ever heard of that outfit?
Yeah. The 338 Lapua it's the king of the long range
We went out
sniper
to.
guns.
I phoned Levart, Stacy Levart. He's got that feedlot east of Nanton. And I said, "What do you do?" He goes, "Well, I got a sick cow." I said, "Okay, we'll be right out."
I can see where this is.
This is a terrible story. Put your earmuffs on.
Yeah.
But anybody likes guns. This is a good one. And he goes, "Well, I'm going to have to put this cow down." And we're like, "Well, we'll do it with this gun." And Levart says, "Where do you want how far back do you want that cow?" He said, go a mile. So how far is a mile in yards? That's a lot, right?
Yeah, 1,760 or something like that.
He shot it right between the eyes.
Yeah, the 338 Lapua.
That's nuts, eh?
Yeah, and the guys that can shoot them, they're insane handy. Like I'm handy at 100 yards, and they're handy at 2,000. Yeah, like they're that efficient. If they want to do it,
It's incredible.
There's not that much risk actually, because they can handle it. They got the gun for it, and they got the.
You don't want those guys mad at you.
No.
Yeah. You ever following the military snipers and all that? Those numbers?
A little bit, but not very much. You hear the stories, but
somebody did this or that. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I know they've got confirmed kills at 2 miles and stuff, but
it's a pretty good shot.
I think there's a lot of information we're not really privy to. They don't give us all the stories.
No, I don't think so either.
And it's good they don't. We don't need to know that.
You don't need to know that stuff. What's happening in the ranching world these days? So I'm not a rancher.
You're not a rancher?
No, I wish I knew more about it. I should have been one though.
I think the industry is pretty good. It's got ups and downs, and
cattle prices and all that stuff.
Up and down. Yeah, for the industry, it'd be nice if it was a little stronger, but I haven't seen a rancher yet that doesn't want it more. But yeah, I just think back to the BSE years a decade ago, and I think it's freaking awesome. It's 4 times what it was then. So.
Yeah. It costs 4 times as much too, probably.
Well, it's not actually that much different.
Not that bad.
No, we were paying $1 a liter of fuel in the late 2008.
Well, look at the welding business. I think I made more money 12, 14 years ago than we do now.
Yeah.
Because everything was cheap.
Yeah, everything was cheaper. But the ranching world, the feed costs are up. I mean, buying a car is up. Like, that stuff is all.
Yeah. Yeah, buying a new pickup.
Oh, it's ridiculous.
New tractor.
What's up with a $100,000 truck?
Somebody told me the other day I have new Ford Platinum F350. The full load's $152,000 on the sticker. I said, "Are you crazy?"
God, I haven't heard that.
Could be.
I've heard the new Dodges are going to be in the 100 to 120s. Just hearsay. They're not. Some of the 2019 1-ton dualies and stuff. Yeah. They're not even on the market yet. But
you still flipping lots of trucks?
No,
you used to do that all the time, didn't you?
I was.
You're kind of like addicted to flipping trucks, right? I was
obsessed to buying and selling when I had 1 or 2 or 3 or 5 on the flip all the time. But no, I haven't actually. The 2 trucks I just bought a new one this spring, but I've only maybe bought 2 trucks in the last 4 or 5 years.
See if
I got that.
You got over it.
I got tired of losing money.
Good job. Good job.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, are we good? That's all I can come up with.
Well, I think that's been awesome.
Okay, buddy.
Good fun.
Thanks.
That was cool. That'll entertain folks.
It's
tough,
but he's a fast talker.